Hi, my name is Gwen Wong, and I'm a curator and member of the AlzSwan team on AlzForum. Today, I'm going to show you how to find genes and proteins on AlzSwan and show you some of the ways that you can find interesting content related to genes and proteins on the AlzSwan knowledge base. We've prepared this short video tutorial to show you how to find specific genes and proteins on AlzSwan. The AlzSwan team has always had the primary goal of curating the many genes and proteins that play any role in the cause or progression of Alzheimer's disease. Towards that goal, we've developed two areas in AlzSwan where you can find important genes or proteins. The first is the Genes and Proteins database in AlzSwan, and the second is a hot topic on the AlzSwan homepage that's dedicated to curating hypotheses that pertain to the biggest human genetic studies in AD. So let's get started with finding AlzSwan from the AlzForum homepage. Here's the homepage of AlzForum, a very familiar page to many of you, and along the left-hand navigation bar, you see under Research, the AD hypotheses and the SWAN knowledge base. If you click on the SWAN knowledge base, it brings you to an introductory page that describes the AlzSwan knowledge base project and allows you to go directly to the AlzSwan knowledge base by clicking on the bold purple text. And if you do that, it brings you to the AlzSwan homepage. Okay, so from here, there's two places where you can find interesting genes and proteins. The first, which is on the homepage, is within the hot topics. And within the hot topics, we've curated a hot topic that says genetic variants modulate risk of AD. And in that hot topic, we have curated hypotheses that basically will reflect the AlzGene top list. And so it will cover hypotheses that are represented by gene-wide association, genome-wide association studies, or other human genetic studies that identify specific genes and their mutations or altered chromosomal locations, whatever, that are associated with heritable forms of Alzheimer's disease. But the biggest database that we have in AlzSwan that covers genes and proteins is the genes and proteins part of the knowledge base. And you find this as the third tab on the horizontal navigation bar. So once you open the Genes and Proteins page, you find a list of 218 genes and proteins groups. In the facet browser along the right-hand side, you can search this page by entering text, and you also see that of the 218 gene and protein groups, most of them are human or mouse. So I'm going to actually demonstrate the use of these of the gene and proteins groups by doing a search for the ApoE gene, and I'm going to just type in ApoE into the search box, and it comes up with several search results. One is the mouse ApoE gene, the second is the human ApoE gene, and the third is the human LRP gene, which is the ApoE receptor. And I'm going to click on the human ApoE gene, which opens up this page, which is dedicated to the ApoE gene. It provides you with links to external resources, the Entree gene link to ApoE, and the AlzGene link to ApoE. And in all of this identifier information, it also shows that this gene encodes the human ApoE protein, and that is a clickable link. And I'll get back to that in a minute. Now, if you scroll down this window, you also see that this gene, the human ApoE gene, is cited by a variety of claims within the AlzSwan knowledge base. And when you scroll through this, you see that this list, which we expect will grow over time, lists all of the specific AlzSwan hypotheses and claims that cite this particular gene. And moreover, specifically in the claims themselves, which are all, again, clickable links to that claim, it will directly link you to citations that are supportive evidence for this claim. So unlike the gene riffs in Entree Gene or the geobiological process section of a UniProt entry, the AlzSwan claims, I think, are better in that they are more directed towards Alzheimer's disease or neurodegeneration, and they're very specific to that particular gene's or protein's function, expression, mutation, or any other change that may correlate to Alzheimer's disease cause and progression. Okay, now going back up to this introductory information section, it says here that the ApoE gene encodes the ApoE human protein, and that, as a clickable link, will bring you to the protein page of the ApoE gene. And we're just waiting for that to load now. Okay, and here we are at the human ApoE protein page. And instead of linking you to an external link like Entree Gene, it links you to an external link like UniProt so that you can see exactly which protein we're speaking about. And again, we talk about a little bit of introductory information, and we say that this protein is encoded by this gene. So this allows you to go back and forth between the protein entry and the gene entry. And like the gene entry, it also lists a cited by list of claims. So each of these claims talks about specifically the function or the role of the human ApoE protein in Alzheimer's disease. And again, like the ones that are listed on the gene page, these claims also are linked to citations, and they are also linked to their hypothesis so that you can see who was the hypothesis author and where did this claim come from, and furthermore, what papers or journal articles did that author use to support this claim that ApoE, for example, is released from astroglia. Okay, so that was just some of the highlighted features of the Genes and Proteins pages in AlzSwan. I hope you found that this introduction to AlzSwan Genes and Proteins helpful. Please come to visit the AlzSwan knowledge base whenever you come to visit AlzForum, and browse or search for your specifically favorite gene or protein as you explore the knowledge base. If you find that we're missing a vital function of a gene or protein, please send us a comment to alert us. Also, if we don't have a gene or protein yet curated into the AlzSwan database, we need you to alert us of that also. Okay, thanks so much.